Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Natasha DeNona Sunset Palette. I finally splurged on this palette. I did purchase it on sale and with some of my Sephora points, so I didn't get too bad of a deal on it. But in today's video, I'm going to let all of you know whether or not I think this palette is worth your money. The short answer is yes, 100%. I absolutely do think this palette is worth every penny. For me, I wear eyeshadow almost every day, so that definitely contributes to it, but it's also very blendable and very pigmented. However, if you want a more broken down review of this palette, if you want to see all of the colors, how I'm applying them, and my comparison of this palette to other popular higher end eyeshadow palettes, then keep watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you like content like this. So first off, this palette comes in this beautiful bronze packaging. It has like a light sheen to it, which I think perfectly represents the palette. Whenever I saw it online, I was a little worried that there were too many shimmers in the palette, but as you can see, that is actually not the case. I also love this little protective layering that comes with the palette and this nice mirror. So it really keeps the palette nice and clean. But as you can see, the majority of the shades are matte. And even the shades that have a little shimmer to them, like this one up here, it's still like more of a sheen rather than a shimmer or glitter. So that could be a con to the palette if you were looking for something a little bit more sparkly. But if I was comparing these eyeshadows to some other higher end ones, I would say prior to using this palette, Anastasia Beverly Hills was one of my absolute favorite eyeshadow brands. I just loved how pigmented the shadows were in those palettes. But those palettes have a lot of fallout. They're difficult to blend. They're not beginner friendly. Natasha DeNona is very beginner friendly, very easy to blend, very pigmented. So Natasha definitely surpasses ABH in my opinion, which is a really unbelievable thing for me to say because ABH was probably my favorite eyeshadow brand for the last 2 or 3 years. I also think Natasha DeNona is better than the Urban Decay Naked line. I do really appreciate how blendable those shadows are, and you can build them up, but they're just simply not as pigmented as these shadows here. If I was comparing it to Too Faced, I would have to say Too Faced, whenever it first goes on, is pretty pigmented, blends nicely, not too much fallout. But as the day goes on, Too Faced really wears down, the eyeshadow breaks down, and it's just not as pigmented at the end of the day. So once again, Natasha DeNona really excels in all of those categories. Doesn't break down, very blendable, pigmented, lasts all day, and really limited fallout. So there's not too many cons in the palette. I would say for me personally, I wish there was more shimmery options. Like I do wish some of these had more than just a subtle sheen to them. I also kind of wish there was a sort of a middle color in between this stark white and this peachy pink. I wish there was like a lighter brown. And I'm not sure that I will really ever use this yellow, but I feel like that's pretty common in any eyeshadow palette. There's always like 1 or 2 colors that you don't necessarily use. But I think this palette is perfect for fall, warm tones we love. So let's stop chit-chatting and I'm going to go ahead and start creating a look. Now, I am definitely not an expert on eyeshadow. I wouldn't say I'm a beginner, but I've been doing my eyeshadow, my eye makeup since like high school. So, you know, that's like 8-9 years at this point. So I've definitely had my fair share of practicing, but I'm still not an expert. So I'm going to start with this white color right here. I love a pale color like this just to kind of build my base. If you struggle with having your eyeshadow stay on, you may not be layering and building your shadow enough. I'm actually going to get a different mirror though because this one is a little bit foggy and it's kind of hard to see with this layering piece. I've actually never used the mirror up until this point. So BRB. And just like that, we're back with my little handheld mirror. Saying I love this white color as a base. It's just perfect for setting your eye makeup. It's not too pigmented and it will definitely help your eyeshadow last longer. You could also, of course, use an eye primer. I really like the Morphe one, but I just have concealer on my eyes at this point. This is a very light color, but no fallout. I think I'm going to go for more of like an orangey brown. Definitely want to do some like fall vibes. So I'm using my Morphe brush, and I'm going to go into this like burnt orange color right here. Look how pigmented. You can see, very pigmented, virtually no fallout. So as you can see, very pigmented, virtually no fallout. I just zoomed myself in a little bit so you guys could see better. I realized you probably couldn't see as well when I was first starting to film that. I haven't done a makeup video in like forever. Sometimes they make me nervous because I'm like, I know I'm not the best, but I feel like I'm good at reviewing products. I'm not necessarily like a makeup artist or guru, but I feel like I can review products and give like an accurate description of them. At least I think so. Anyway, we're going to blend, blend, blend. And that's just like unbelievable because honestly there's no fallout. That blended so well. You saw that orangey shade. It looked really bright and intimidating, but it looks so natural on the eyes. Now let's deepen that up with this brownish orange shade. Again, it looks scary and intimidating, but it's not going to be when we put it on the eyes. So I'm gonna just go into kind of that outer corner, and I am taking a lighter hand with this shade because I think it could have potential for more fallout. And I do my foundation and skin makeup before I do my eye makeup, which I know some people are against, but I don't know. To me, it just feels right. I really like how this kind of deepened up the color. We'll definitely make it last even longer by adding a top layer of shadow on that. And it also just gives like a nice dimension to the eye. So yeah, we're just gonna go along the outer corner. All right, there we go. And I'm really liking the look. What I'm gonna do for the inner corner in the lid is I want to gravitate towards a shimmer and just apply some on my hand. Once again, this is not going to be super shimmery, but let's try to do a contrast in color and go for this gold right here. So I'm just going to put some on my finger. That's what it looks like there. And just kind of dab it on that inner corner. So it looks really pretty like close up, but you probably aren't going to be able to tell what it looks like on camera. And I do think that is the one con. I wish these shimmers were more pigmented. I get that not everyone likes shimmer, and I think her shadows are supposed to be more natural and like everyday wear, but I could use just like a little bit more pigment on these shimmers. But I think this just pulls the eye look together very nicely. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ABH brush, the one that just came from the palettes. I love the end here. And I'm just going to kind of blend all of the eyeshadow together one more time so there's no harsh edges. And this is one of my eyeshadow tips. Never take your eyeshadow all the way up to your eyebrow. It just does not look good. It will be too dramatic, so don't do that. I used to do that. And now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like as a liner. So I'm going to take this little flat brush from e.l.f. and I'm going to line my eyes with shadow. I love this trick. I don't know who I first saw this from, Tati or maybe Jaclyn Hill, I don't know. But I'm going to go into this dark matte brown. This is perfect for a liner. And once again, it's going to be a little bit more prone to fallout. This darker shade, and also doing it on this kind of brush, so you have to be a little bit more careful. And eyeliner is something I really struggle with. I'm just not good at drawing straight lines. I never have been. but I found that if I do a shadow liner before a liquid liner, it's a lot easier and it looks a lot neater for me. Still don't fall out. Wow. I would say I'm like taking my time with my makeup. I have used this palette before and done it a little bit faster, and I did experience some fallout with the darker shades, which I think is to be expected. But it's nice to know that if you really take your time like this, you're not going to be ending up with all this eyeshadow on your cheeks and under your eyes. Sometimes I just take my hand like that if I think things need blended a little bit more. That really is the secret to great eyeshadow, is blending. And I'm going to finish up this look by using this Maybelline Precise All Day liquid liner. This is also a pretty easy liner to use. I would say it's beginner friendly. And I'm going to go over top of this line. Okay, and now it's time for some mascara. I think I need a new one of these because I can feel it getting kind of dry. It's so hard doing your mascara when you have really light eyelashes. It's just very time consuming. Now I use Natasha DeNona's shadows. I love this palette, definitely 5 stars from me. I would 100% repurchase this or try some for other palettes. I was really satisfied with how this palette performs. I have used it multiple times now for all day affairs, and it really does stay on. I know that this shadow will last me 6, 7, 8 hours from now. It will still be looking good. Of course, there is, you know, a little bit of a fade, you know, as any makeup product there is, but just in relative of how it performs to other palettes, I really find it just staying on very well, and I'm super pleased with this. Cannot recommend it enough. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!